Call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Brunner,
Here.
Nadowski,
Here.
Rasmussen.
Here.
This meeting and all other meetings of this committee are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin statutes, so the citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting. Two on the agenda, approved minutes from February 8th, 2016.
Make a motion to approve minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Citizens' appearance.
Did you want to say anything, Mr. Gage?
Says citizens appearance.
No, I
first,
just
if
want to
you-
listen in, see what it's all about.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Let's move right on to the engineer report then.
Okay, item A is the wastewater treatment plant construction update, contract A15. The project is about 2 months out from being finished, so we're starting to, a lot of startups in the last 2 weeks, getting stuff put online, so things are moving forward. Everything's out of the ground, they're gonna start on some site work here soon, get that taken care of, but yeah, they should be closing her up here in the next 2 months. And then just punch list and cleanup in June. So that's kind of, they're on schedule.
Good.
We have pay request in, pay request number 9, the amount listed. Due this application is $623,491.65. $623,491.65. And if anybody has any questions on that, I can answer the questions. Or Don has any updates on the day-to-day operations of the treatment plant for you, if anybody has any.
Come on, Greg, you could sit in a meeting, you've been to one before.
No, everything's went through the approvals, correct?
Yep,
Yeah, the only note we've got is obviously we want to have that contingent on lien waivers.
yes, lien waivers are still there.
This is pay request number 9. Number 8, we're still holding
For the
for lien waivers.
Yep,
Number 7, we had just released like last week. So we're holding 8, 9, obviously that contingency is still as important as it's been month to month.
Yep.
So,
So when is that gonna be released, number 8?
as soon as they turn in their lien waivers to
Right.
tell us that,
Yeah, and that's
Their
what I was
subs have been
saying, when
paid.
are they saying that?
It's really up to them.
Yeah,
they have,
exactly.
there was a little bit of a hang up they had between one of the subs on their relationship, and I think maybe even with the retainage that Myron holds, there's something there where they had a little bit of a hang up. But they have to follow the contract documents
Yes.
of our project, they have to turn in the lien waivers as it's specified in our contract, so.
We'll make a motion to approve contract A15 pay request number 9 for $623,491.65 contingent upon receipt of lien waivers.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Motion carried.
did we want to, mention anything on the plaque sign, Patrick? You had the question on the names?
No, we should be good. The big thing is, we're looking at the plaques for both the treatment plant and the city hall municipal building project. We're looking at probably the second week in June for like an open house type at probably both facilities. The plaques aren't gonna have a dedication date, because we don't know what the date is, and usually what are the plaques, a month out, 2 months out?
About 6 to 8 weeks.
So we'll order the plaques. What they're gonna have on them is just the year 2016, and then the
that's
city
the
council that approved
Municipal
them.
building, but that's,
And we're not gonna put the date in there because in June it's gonna be a new council, but it's not the council that approved these projects though. So if that makes sense,
No, that makes sense.
I'm assuming that the audience I'm talking to, everyone's name is on this
You got
plaque, so
top
you'll be
billing,
all okay with it.
You got
So-
that billing on that.
So, but that's how we'll go, but we're looking at, actually with City Hall, and we'll get to that in the finance meeting, but as of today, with a meeting I had with Emil, it sounds like the week of April 18th is when we'll be able to shut down here and start moving over
Oh.
and getting stuff turned on. But moving in is gonna take probably a good month with getting everything turned on, so by the time we get to like the second week in June, we should be good to open up even the council chambers and have everything running that way.
Oh.
But the April and probably May council meetings might not be held in that council room yet, because it's gonna be real tight with getting everything wired up
Yep.
in mid-May.
I suppose Heartland's gonna take over basically in April?
Well, they've done, all the cabling and everything's good to go. They need to wait until, it sounds like April 14th is when they're really gonna take off.
Okay. Is
In
our
there.
server and everything ready then? I guess
It will be
we can wait
ready.
For finance.
It will be, so April, the way that, yeah, we'll wait till finance, but we're using, this is phase one.
Yep.
It combines with phase two, so the 18th, we literally are unplugging here, and then that whole week, we're gonna be
Okay.
moving and all that, so.
That's only a month away.
Yep,
That's what we were looking at today.
close.
That's significant. That's when the treatment plant is going to be significantly finished as well. Same
Mhm.
week. So,
You can sell your teepee and have an office.
yep.
Okay, just wanted to bring that up. The next item is contract A16, the municipal building parking lot reconstruction, reviewing the bids. Again, keep in mind the project we had was the parking lot in back. We had a sidewalk on West Main Street. We had miscellaneous manhole repairs on the project, on West Main Street and the highway. The rings are all deteriorating. We had those bid as an item. And the other one was a East Alfred Street sidewalk replacement. There was two areas by well number 3 that were cracked. So I sent over a summary for the work that needed to be completed. And just,
That's what this big sheet is.
yeah, the big sheet, because what the big sheet is it spells out, what I wanted to make sure we understood was the work to be completed, I put in some alternate bids in there.
Yep.
So when I put in alternate bids into the contract, I also tell them how we're gonna evaluate it, because they have to know that. Otherwise, things may change a little bit dollar-wise. So I put in there that we will evaluate all alternates, and we'll make our evaluation based off of that. So what that does is on this big sheet that we gave you is the yellow bid, is if you go on the base bid, Summers Construction is low. If you go on the additional paving plus the base bid, Summers is still low. If you go on base bid for the sidewalk and not the modular wall, just the sidewalk, Summers is still low. If you put in the retaining wall on that sidewalk, then it changes to Vinton.
Okay.
Okay, because there's that much of a difference between the things there. So, and I also threw in there on that last one the additional paving. You know, so if we throw the additional paving in, because you got so many different moving parts on this one. When you make your award, and we're looking, potentially recommendations tonight, but Patrick may have a visit or two with the property owners next door to see if anybody's interested. If nobody's interested in doing anything, then that additional paving item will come out of the contract. We won't award it for that. We'll award it for our base bid, and we won't do any extra work. But we did get the numbers. The thing that I wanted to make sure we all understood is the base bid stays with the same contractor until you get into the modular wall.
Okay.
If you were to put a retaining wall,
So the second one, the green total alternative.
that's the 16,000. So let me go through that. This is a summary. So I backed it up with
Okay.
on your sheets. I gave you the full bid tabs, everybody's bids that they proposed, and there were 4 bidders, and then I itemized the additional paving dollars, which is this item here. It's not on this, but it's in your
It's in the packet.
in your packet. And if you look at the numbers on here for Summers, the total alternate, if you take both of them, that's a $16,060.
Okay.
That's the green item that's showing right here, $16,060. So if you were to select the additional paving in the back parking lot as we showed on the plans, it'd be an additional $16,000. Now, $12,960 of it is additional pavement out there for the property owners. That comes to about $16.20 a square yard for them to remove it, fine grade it, and pave it. And then the sidewalk between the buildings, that comes out to about $3,100 to pull that asphalt out, grade it, and pave it. And again, that's what we talked about in our meetings, that to do that work in between the buildings there is a lot harder to do than open parking lots. and that's reflective here. But it shows you the, the difference in cost. So that's why I put the summaries together so you could understand where the cost came from. Then the next item I had was the lighting summary. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood. For the LED lights, the cost was $12,315. Everybody used the same subcontractor. Nobody marked it up. So everybody had the same number in there. If you went with the metal halide luminars in lieu of the LEDs, it was about $1,200 more to go with LEDs. But the LEDs are probably payback will be a shorter period of time than the
Energy and lifespan. Right?
yes. So we wanted to do that. We also wanted to put in an optional light because then it gives you a little bit more flexibility. So that one did. The low bidder will not change if you select the lighting. If you determine that you don't want to do the lighting, we'll take that out of the award also. We wrote that into an addendum saying if the lighting is not cost effective, we're going to pull it.
Yeah, so what we did, and the mayor was in on that too, when you walk out back in the parking lot, right now there are 3 street lights that hang in 3 of the corners off of the poles that are out here. There's one behind this building, there's one behind the brew house, and there's one straight back at that driveway entrance that's currently the construction entrance. And then the 4th corner on the southeast corner, there's a big light on the garage. So there's lighting already, and the thought was, the addendum was to put lighting in general in as an alternate. So if you didn't even want to put brand new decorative lighting in, we could get a price for it, and that's the $12,000
Yes, that's in the
price.
That's in the base bid. If you determine that you don't want to do it, we'll award the contract for the base bid, but in the change order, I will take that out. And that's how I stated it in the contract.
And so
it's-
the question then would be, based on that cost for the $12,000, would you rather that we put decorative lighting in and take out those existing lights? Because I get a sense personally that if you decide you're not going to put the decorative lighting in right now, you're probably never going to put the decorative lighting in.
Yeah.
It's really not, well, in a sense it's decorative, but actually the LED just gives you so much more.
Well, it's the posts. The posts are more decorative
Yeah.
though. It's better
Yeah,
than like
posts
a,
will look- yeah, okay.
pole.
The,
Yeah.
the
And so it's the
lighting,
whole
the
thing.
lighting
Yep.
we spec'd was the same lighting you have out on the highway here.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the same
Yep.
pole.
Yep.
It's not a wood pole. It's the same thing.
decorative pole, yeah, okay.
Some
As
of-
far as the light goes, that LED lighting is considerably better than what we got back there now.
Plus, it's just a wood
Cheaper.
pole at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, we can, if you want to, we could open up the back door and take
Does,
a quick look. But I mean, it's literally it's lights that hang off of the existing poles that are out there.
Now, does this have built in where the we talked about putting electricity in the center? So does that got it built into those poles then? Okay.
Plugs
And
are in
even
the poles.
yeah, so
Nice.
and
So
the
they're
option.
protected too.
Yeah,
And then the poles are up in the air too. We
Okay.
brought that idea up. I think Donna brought that up. We
Yep.
got them off the ground,
Just to make sure they're not getting dinged or
bumped by a car.
plowed in or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So-
saw one the other day in Appleton that was, it was actually brought, it was up probably a foot or so, maybe a little bit more, and it was leaned
Yeah.
over. And that was on a curb, so somebody was plowing and lifted the blade and ding, just pushed it over.
Then the other
Auto
option,
drivers.
then the other summary I had in there was the sidewalk on West Main Street. The base bid was the grading of the terrace, which is $15,163, and then the option, the alternate there was the West Main Street sidewalk with a modular wall, which was $6,600 more. And if you see the difference in bids, it's about $2,000 difference between the two contractors, and by being $2,000 difference, that's what switches it. If you make the changes, if you select the modular wall. So that's the summary. I tried to break it out and explain it, but on the plans, the summary of the bid tabs I gave you, mainly was, my intent was to give you an idea if it changes bidders, and it does at the very end.
Yep.
Can I ask one question, Ted? Only because Bruce had been asking me about, he plows our streets, he knows, he talked about these rings. You wanna elaborate on them a little bit, what you're gonna do with the risers or whatever they are on the highway?
Yeah, all we're doing, where the manholes are out there, is they were identified to have the rings were deteriorating in the state highway.
So you're gonna take the manhole off, put on new rings and Let them, right?
Just new rings, no, the manhole, cone section is gonna stay in place. It's just gonna pull we got I think it's a 6x6 square.
Rings are all busted underneath, that's what
Yep.
they're replacing.
6x6 square, they'd have to cut in the asphalt, pull the casting off, pull the old rings out, put all new rings in, put a rubber ring on top, put the casting back on, cement them all down, glue them all down, and then pave the asphalt.
And we were thinking it might be 2-3 grand per manhole,
Well, that's what
but the cost came in at 1,000 per manhole to do it. So,
Oh, nice.
so it came in cheaper than what we expected, which is a good thing. Part of, I don't know that you're going to be able to make a recommendation on an award to a contractor tonight, but what you might want to start to look at is the base bid on the parking lot. The options that are there, obviously it's LED lighting or the high pressure sodium. LED is probably going to make sense, like you said.
Yep, I'm for the LED.
But before that, you'd want to talk about whether you want to install those new posts and take the lighting out, or request Weyauwegas to take those lights off the poles that are there now.
I would say yes.
So you'd want to look at that for roughly $12,000 to put those new lights in. And do you want to go with the LEDs? It sounds like you probably do. Probably take a vote or make a recommendation on that part of it. And then you'll probably want to go to the West Main Street sidewalk and determine whether you want to do that project. Because last fall, we sort of had an estimate that it was going to be $15,000 right on the head to do it. And the council, I believe, decided you didn't want to do it last fall. You wanted to bid it out this summer.
Yeah, thinking
And when
that
we
it
bid
would
it out-
get in the contract and then be a little bit.
And it's the same price. Essentially, it's 15,000. Now, when Thad and I went and met with the property owner, their yard is sort of a big mound and then it drops to the road. Well, to get the proper grade for the sidewalk, the base bid just has us putting in the sidewalk and then cutting back their yard to get a good grade. It's what, 1x3 or?
I think it's 4 to 1 or 5 to
4 to
1
1
slope. So it's
So every 4
manageable.
feet, it'll lift up a foot. Now, one of the things that the property owner had requested was they'd like us to put the option in for the wall, because then that way it maintains their front yard. And they sort of said that they'd be interested in cost sharing on the wall. Well, we told them that we didn't have a price yet. Now, we know that the sidewalk is a little over 15,000, and the wall is $6,000 too. So that's a $21,000 project with the sidewalk and the wall, because we don't know what the property owner would be willing to share with us with costs. We'll find that out in the next couple of days. We'll probably have that for next Monday night. But until we know that, you may not, you probably want to talk about whether you want to do it, period, and then from there, if we're going to grade it and do the base bid, or if we're going to put in the wall.
Okay.
Whether you want to consider it at all or not. And then from there, I think the manholes, for sure, we should go for, because again, that's a better price than we expected.
Yep.
The sidewalk repair on East Alfred Street, we talked about, we would do that and then go, actually, the county highway, Dean had mentioned to us last
Yeah,
fall
He
Yeah.
would.
that we should go get it done and then talk to the county about just getting reimbursed.
Cost share on it.
Because they didn't have the warranty or whatever on it
Yes.
that we do.
I don't think they carried a warranty on sidewalk like that, right?
They don't carry warranty on any of the work.
Okay,
That's typical for the DOT.
sure.
Nice.
They don't carry warranties.
But and we'll talk to obviously Dean went on now, but we've got that where he said to bid it out, then we'd go back and talk to him. But either way, it's gotta that's your sidewalk that you're talking
Yep,
about,
yep.
well, yours.
The one that's buckled up that
Right,
somebody
it-
informed me about.
It just has to get fixed,
Yeah.
so we'll do that, but your considerations would be
So the
probably
base-
these alternates then.
The
And then,
base-
the additional paving, we'll talk to these property owners, because almost all these buildings have concrete behind them. So some of them
not wanna.
there may not be any paving at all,
Yeah, maybe real minimal.
and we'll find that out in the next couple of days too. But again, this block wall on West Main Street could determine one low bidder or the other, and then this additional paving back here would determine one low bidder or the other. So you're probably not ready to make a determination on who should be the awarded contractor, but we'll find that out, have that for next Monday if that's okay.
Yep. So from what I'm looking at though, the base bid here, it's the parking lot, the sidewalk on Main, all the manhole rings,
Have 5 of them for,
and then the miscellaneous being East Alfred, I'm guessing.
Yes.
So we definitely want, or I guess speaking for myself, I would definitely say yes. Now that has the LED in
Yes.
that price?
LED is the base bid.
Okay. So that we definitely want, I think. Do we need motions on each individual
Yeah,
one,
that's-
just for
that's
say, hey, we definitely want this, and then just hit each one?
yeah, that should be fine.
And then
So
just depending
Schedule
on
A
how it-
is on
depending
City
on how it
Hall
works.
parking lot. B is the West Main Street sidewalk. C then is the manhole rings.
Yep.
So you'd probably want to run those 3.
Oh, run each schedule?
That probably would make sense, I would think.
All right.
And then D then is that sidewalk work on East Alfred. So on Schedule A, it's just the City Hall parking lot.
Yep.
Includes the decorative lighting, and then we call it decorative because it's
Right.
just like out front here, with the LED lights in it.
Yep.
Now, the only question that I think we had, and Thad, I don't know if it's appropriate now or later, is on the concrete in that median, whether it's colored concrete or not. Is that something we look at right now with the bid?
There's colored concrete that we had placed in there, and we got a cost for it. The colored concrete's about $1,950 more than just straight concrete, gray concrete.
And that's where we're talking, where we want a grass where the lights are gonna be. We determined that we weren't gonna put grass, but a hard surface in there is what we said.
We had talked about using the color of concrete that was out in the Main Street here back there,
Okay.
but that's about $2,000 more, $1,900.
Just for the color portion of it. Now, do we have the ability to pull that out?
We can change it. I'd change it by change order. It doesn't make a difference on the base
So
bid.
right now, it's just concrete.
It's
It's
colored
colored
concrete,
concrete.
colored,
Right now
that red
it's-
In the
color.
base.
Colored's in the
it's
base
colored.
bid.
So we could
Okay.
bring it down a couple thousand without that. Not really necessary back there. Nice-
But you're
nice
thinking what we can do
thought,
is
I
change
mean,
order it out of either one.
Whatever we do is if we take anything else out, I'd take it out of both of them.
Okay.
And once you give me your thoughts, recommendations, I will make sure before your meeting Monday night that if anything changes, I'll let you know.
Okay.
But right now, the way I've evaluated, everything should stay the same, except for the wall.
And so then the colored concrete, that's in the City Hall parking lot, Schedule A.
Yes.
Okay. So then I would be making a motion to go with the Schedule A for the City Hall parking lot, minus the colored concrete. I think we can just do the regular.
And that'll be one motion, then one more, okay.
Yeah, then we'll go to the
I
next
would,
one.
I would second that.
Does that make sense, Patrick, how I worded that? I think you understand the intent.
Yep.
All right, so we've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We move on then to the sidewalk on West Main Street.
I know, when we talked about this before, we said that it should happen. We were kind of surprised that they didn't go all the way down when they were doing it before, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, when the
has
DOT
anybody's
did it.
feelings changed on that?
The one thing that did change is that after we decided not to move forward with it, we created that TIF district number 7, which includes that area, and we did include it as an eligible expense. Right now, and I think I came back to you guys after that too and said, if there is no more development down in that area, we're running just about even to pay back our share of Lakeshore Drive of the road. And so if you put the sidewalk on top, it's probably gonna be more than what we're projecting on the taxes coming in from the gas station. But the hope is that in the next 22 years, something
Something
else
else will
develops
use it.
there and it'll bring in more revenue into the district. But we did put it in as an eligible expense because essentially you're helping people get down to that development.
Yep. So, I would make a motion then, and then this is just the sidewalk, right? Not the retaining wall or anything
No,
like that, 'cause
the
there still has
base,
to be discussion
the
on that.
base bid is the grading
Okay,
terrace, so there's no There's no retaining wall. Retaining wall is that option,
So then I'll make a motion to go with Schedule B, the West Main Street sidewalk and grading, and we'll leave the other part out for discussion after you've had a chance to talk with the homeowners.
I would say in your motion, you can do we recommend we approve Schedule B, and however you're gonna put it, to talk to the property owner about the alternate for a retaining wall.
Yeah, so, yeah, it'd just be a motion to approve Schedule B, and then we'll have to have further discussion with the property owner of the retaining wall and how we wanna do that, if we wanna do a cost share, or if they're willing. Would look nice, but $6,000's quite a bit for a wall.
and the one thing they have to do is if they don't want to pay for the wall, we need a construction easement for them to grade their yard back to make it fit. We'll put concrete steps in there going up to their drive. But if they won't give us that, a TLE to get on their property to do the work, then the sidewalk's out.
Okay.
We can't do it. So then we just won't put it in.
That sidewalk wraps around the corner, doesn't it?
Just barely gets around
There's-
to where
there's
the
a-
catch basin is there.
Right, there's already a curb cut in the curb, we
Yeah.
cut that in, and then the other thing is, just so you understand, someone doesn't think we did a little extra, we should have. When you put a sidewalk and dump it out into a street, you have to have a landing on the other side for somebody to land. You have to put that in, so we have a small section of concrete on the other side that's just gonna go there and stop.
Yep, and after that, it's up
And
to,
the property owners, if they
Co-op.
wanna run it in, they can,
yep,
but we have to put it in there by
Yeah.
regs.
Okay.
So you had a motion, I don't know if you got a second though.
not yet.
Would you restate it again?
I've got.
Yes.
Lori?
So I'm making a motion to approve Schedule B for the West Main sidewalk, and we'll be contacting the homeowners of the property that would require a retaining wall to see.
On the
what kind of
retaining wall alternate.
Yeah, on the retaining wall alternate to see what we can work out. So right now, it would just be the grading.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, I'll make a motion for Schedule C, which is replacing repair of manhole adjusted rings. And if I'm correct, this is a requirement, isn't it?
What happened was there's 3 on West Main, 2 over by the drive-in, 1 just to the east of Lane Reese's house. The DOT came through and did an inspection, and these 3 manholes were in the travel lanes. And they've basically, I don't know that we got a mandate to fix them, but, not a written mandate, but we
We
got
would if we didn't do anything.
contacted to fix them, yeah. Yep,
Okay.
yep. And then there's 2 others too. One is at Lake Street and Main. It's a storm manhole that is sunken in where water collects in there. And then I believe, I'm trying to think where the 5th one is. We had like 10 or 12 and we picked 5 to do.
One down by the Dairy Maid, 2 at Lakeshore, 1 east of Lakeshore, or Lake Street, and then 1 at Marion, the highway.
That's right, yep.
So it's 1, 2, and then 1 staggering. 4 sanitary, 1 stone.
So you did make a motion?
Yep.
Motion on the floor. Did we get a second on that?
I don't have one yet.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Next, then, I'll make a motion to approve Schedule D, which is the sidewalk repair on East Alfred. And then just, you're gonna be working with the county then for reimbursement then?
Yeah.
And those ones, from what I'm told, are sticking up,
Yeah.
cracked right to the middle.
Do we have a second on that then?
I'll second.
And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you. So Patrick will talk with the property owner That's the only thing hanging out there right now is the discussion with the property owner on the cost for
That and the
$6,000.
additional paving.
And the property owners for
Paving,
additional
paving,
paving then
yes.
too. Okay,
Otherwise, we have everything else taken care of then?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And moving on to wastewater treatment plant certified survey map.
Patrick, you want to bring?
Yep, so we've got a request from AgriPure, because as we're working with them to sell them that Storm Pond property, one of the things that they realized was that once they buy that, they don't have access to it, because there's railroad to the west, river to the east, storm ditch to the north. What they're requesting is to have an easement to access through our driveway at the treatment plant. Now, with that, if there was any damage or anything like that, we would mandate, obviously, that they would repair that. But one of the things that affects this CSM is, one of the other requests they have is that we back out or zoom out a little bit so that we can catch their pond property, so that we have a CSM map that has their easement and their whole property. Where right now it's just cutting off the northeast corner of the pond, because we're not mapping their pond, we're mapping our property. So they've asked on that. But the other part of it with the CSM, the hangup is that to the southwest, it's Mr. Pope, his house that borders the treatment plant. I think we talked about this maybe a month ago, but there's some fuzzy title work on where that property line is between our treatment plant and his house. Now, what the CSM is looking to do is to use an existing fence line that's there. And we did shoot it by Attorney Calney to see, and I didn't get a response back from him today yet, but that's the other holdup that we've got on the certified survey map. The last thing is, there are 4 We Energies easements on our larger parcel that we're looking to sell and on our treatment plant. And what we found was, I don't think We Energies actually recorded any of them. So they've been, over the last couple of years, they were executed so that they could have power to our plant, power to PIP, their crossing for the river. And basically what We Energies told me was that they get these executed and then they have a backlog of a year or two, because they record them when they can record them. But with all the work they've done in town, they get a lot of easements from a lot of people, a lot of work they're doing everywhere. But what they don't expect is that within a year, somebody's gonna look to sell land or buy land. And so now, what we wanna do is make sure that all their easements are recorded so that they're there, because AgriPure is looking to get the Storm Pond property clear of anything that doesn't need to be there. And so what we found was, the river crossing, I think all 4 of the easements that are in that area, none of them were recorded.
Right.
I called We Energies as, sort of as a courtesy, and said, you might wanna get these expedited. 2 of them have been recorded, we're still waiting on the other 2 yet, so.
Okay. So, has the pond property not been sold then?
You authorized me to sell it to them. We did sign in December a purchase agreement that put out 120 days till it close, and that gets us into April. Well, it's lined up to close probably in April. So we have an agreement to sell it. We just haven't closed yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's by design, and
Yep.
we're probably gonna be real tight to whatever that deadline is in April, because
Getting everything sorted out.
AgriPure's requested that if there's easements that aren't any good anymore, like we moved a sanitary line, or actually we moved it for AgriPure. We Energies is moving lines around, they just wanna clean up the land as best as they can. There's a couple things there, but it's within the 120 days yet.
Okay.
So that's the update. We're still working on it yet, a couple things to work on.
So then that does require a motion of some sort?
No,
did you say?
no, it's just update only. Yep.
That's what okay.
Yep.
And D, the discussion on 2016 CIP.
We have the CIP updated, I think the last couple months. Usually when we do the CIP, we go out 10 years. All of the work to be done in 2016, right now we're currently, we bought a squad car, we're building right now, and we put out for bids for the road work, parking lot work. There is no other work in 2016, but what we're reviewing over the next 5 years is existing street projects that we've had out there. From year 6 to 10, this June and July, we're gonna sit down with Thad and review again all the old projects that had been thrown out there at one point and then taken off, and just either put them to bed or put them on the CIP. But for right now, we feel pretty good about where we're at for 2016, because again, we're building what we're gonna build.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, it's just a matter of, is there funding? What are the priorities on roads, utilities, parks, all that stuff? One of the things we will have to take a look at though is with that property that we purchased down by the dam. If we're lining up a garage within the next 10 years, which I'm assuming we would be, we should probably be looking at lining that up for a tentative spot of the CIP. So that's something, but, you know, either on or before June, we'll look at getting that on there too. Okay. So we have a draft of the plan. If you want to recommend approval of the draft of the plan, we can get it approved. Again, nothing's going to change for 2016 because we're already working on that work. But because of the way we do the CIP, 2016 is year one,
Yeah.
and we'll be reviewing the rest of the projects.
What's the background behind the baseball field lights?
The youth
2017.
baseball had I think they requested of us that we look at putting in brand new ball field lights. And it was just put out to a certain point.
Okay.
One of the other requests, and it's been about a year since we talked about it, and I think the youth baseball group has had some turnover too of the governing board. One of the things they had asked was, if we're gonna look at doing new lights, they would like some sort of a consideration on turning the field around.
Up at the park?
Mhm.
Okay.
Because when the kids play right about evening time, the sun sets directly in center field, and so when their batters are looking to see the pitch coming in, the sun is like right there. So it's a problem that no matter which way you turn the field, if you do, you're gonna have the sun some way. But one of the thoughts that they had was, well, if you're gonna be putting in new lights, they wanted to know, you know, maybe that we would consider maybe turning the field. And what they would wanna do is take home plate where it sits now
Yeah.
and put it out in the left field foul pole in the corner. So you basically turn the field around.
So that the balls, when they go out, fly towards the cars.
Either way they do it, yeah. Or the swim lake, whatever. That's just something that they wanted us to consider. It would be, there's an expense, I have no idea what that would cost.
Yeah.
But I do know that when you look out to do new lights, that's
Yeah.
not cheap.
How old are the lights that are in there, and the concessions and everything like that?
Concession's pretty old.
Weren't they even donated
30,
by
40 years, I
somebody?
think. I think it was, they were built, maybe the supplies in it were built. It's hard to tell because the
Yeah.
people I've talked to, 4 or 5 grandfathers of different groups have built it,
Yeah.
depending on who you talk to. And I'm sure they did, but
I mean, this doesn't hold us to anything. It's
Seems
just
to
a
me they
matter
got
of
them lights
planning.
donated
This is
from
planning.
somebody.
Good.
Yeah.
but usually, so when the lights, the bulbs burn out, we get them replaced. So I mean, the lights themselves get maintained.
Yeah, so it's not like there isn't lights or anything. I just
Right.
saw that and I was just curious.
Yeah, yeah. But when you look at that, you look at how old are the lights? Are they efficient? You know, are the poles holding up the lights okay? Those are all
Yeah.
the things we look at.
That'll go between the rec committee too, huh?
Either that or through Public Works. Rec usually is like a programming type thing, and Public Works is
The actual,
where the construction and the money gets spent.
I
guess
tell
I
you
could
what, a
say.
lot cheaper than turning the field is just putting up some kind of a shade,
That's an
Yeah.
idea too.
like in a restaurant or anyway. You know, it's just bigger. That's all.
yeah.
Yep.
Make a little outdoor out of it.
Hmm?
Make a little outdoor out of it. With a big screen. What?
Yeah, there you go.
Just some mini blinds.
Resurrect the outdoor theater.
Yeah, you know that double
There you go.
purpose.
Now we're thinking. Okay.
But that really is not out of the question, honestly. Just
Yeah, I think they have an issue that they asked to be considered or addressed, and I think when we get to that point, I think we'll probably consider anything we could do.
Yeah.
And more importantly, figure out what they'll all cost, do all the options.
Yeah, because I'm guessing these, you know, if you go with baseball lights, it's $67,000. I'm
guessing.
probably
that's
thinking
low.
those aren't LEDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You know.
If you-
And then the other thing is there's money with a focus on energy, you know, for some of these lights out, something like that. And then also, it's not bad to start bartering with We Energies, because they may have some programs that they can help, because it's youth baseball and that type stuff. They may be able to, help.
Yeah.
I think Tim Cullen donated all the lights for the football field, didn't he? His company, Tim Sand Lighting.
Yeah, he had a lot to do with it.
He had a lot to do with that. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we need a motion then to approve the,
If we could, get a motion to recommend approval of the CIP.
alright, I'll make a motion to approve the CIP
Draft.
draft.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Alright.
I've never seen one of these before. It was nice to see.
We've had it. We've had it.
Prior to you, though.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it.
No,
I think you did. Well,
I
it
think we-
just depends on whether you got it.
Maybe I understand.
Maybe you didn't get it, I know I put
could be.
them together,
It
and
could be.
and really what this is just a planning tool. Because now when we
exactly.
get it cleaned up in June, July, and you start your budgeting process for the next year,
Right.
you can look and see, and we can move things around again, or move them out a year or 2 years.
Yep.
Very good.
Okay, then, number 5 on the agenda, discussion and possible action on Spring Street sweeping.
Right at the buzzer, we did get one of the proposals from TNC, which is the company that's done it the last couple of years.
First said they did.
It's for spring. What they've had is usually they've quoted out about $4,400 for the spring. Right now, what he's looking at for spring cleanup is $4,550. He's got a summer cleanup. He has a fall cleanup. The summer we had asked last year in the event that we would go out like in July to try to clean up before the parades and things like that. That's why he throws that number on there. For fall, he has a number out there, but the issue we've run into with him is that he is not a fan of the fact that we don't have like a leaf pickup. And so with his street sweeper, he's got a street sweeper, he doesn't have a leaf sweeper. What I had asked from him was just a spring only cleanup because it's getting to the point now where you can get out and sweep. He gave the other numbers here, but the other thing that he put out too, which I'm glad he did for this year, is he mentioned that there are some expenses that he could take on himself to convert his machines to pick up leaves in the fall. And what I had mentioned to him was if he's got a cost on what that might cost us. We talked to New London, with the city of New London, on what it would take for them to come over with a leaf
They weren't interested.
pickup. The best way for them to come is with their big hose truck, but the state patrol doesn't let them take that out on the highway to get here because it's got a big hose right out in front. But they do have like a trailer that they could come over for. What happened last year is the 1 or 2 days in the fall we had them lined up, it poured and poured and poured, and then it was windy. Or maybe it was the other way around. It was windy and then it poured, and then the leaves we were going to have them pick up were washed
Gone.
away. So we didn't have them come down.
I thought they weren't interested, but that might have been a different one. That might have been on the street
Our
sweeping.
neighbor to the west, maybe. Yeah.
Might have been
No,
the-
so street sweeping, their street sweeper was on its last leg.
Yeah, that's what
is what it was.
Okay.
And so
I
one
knew
of
it
the
was something, I
things.
just couldn't remember what.
Yeah, we couldn't do it,
I remember
Right.
something was dying on them, so they were like, no. Okay.
So what we have for the quote right now is TNC, which is the company that's done it the last few springs, for $4,550. Usually we've had them do it in the spring. It sounds like we could get them out within the next month. Right now, trying to get any of our other neighbors to do it, the county to do it, any other companies to do it, we're probably looking at a few weeks to get quotes and then trying to get on their list. We're probably not going to get it done
So this guy's
spring,
ready to,
you know.
Yeah.
So the question would be, with this quote that came in from the company that's been doing it, is that an acceptable quote for the committee? On my end, I would say that I don't have a problem with this amount.
Pretty much same as last year, so.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I don't have a problem with the amount, but I'm just thinking about this in my head, and, you know, do we try and get them or get someone on a 3-year contract for this, and this, so that way it's not such a, you know, pain in the butt, I guess.
I'm trying to think now. Apparently, I've been here long enough that my memory is filling up. But I think we asked that back in 2013,
Okay.
and the answer was, "Here's your rates, and we could do it for 3 years at these rates," and that's about what it would be.
Okay.
We didn't get like a discount or anything like that.
Oh, I'm just thinking to have it so it's more scheduled, and that way it's not a big.
So we're not doing it every year instead of doing it
Yeah.
every 3 years.
Right.
Because I know the 1 year we had problems, and that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And then in the fall, 2 falls ago, he had come and then someone,
And he had a lot of big problems or something. Wasn't he sick or he had
Yeah, he was
medical
sick.
problems or
Yeah.
something last year? He,
No, I thought his machine broke a couple
Something,
of times.
uh,
There
Sick
was
also,
sand in
he's
the,
behind.
it
There
ended
was
up being like a
piles of
month
sand
behind.
in
I
the-
remember.
it was both.
yeah, he
by the
had,
curbs
both.
and,
I think he had a little bit of both or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a good idea to get them ordered now, so get it done, cause the snow is gone, it's probably gonna stay gone, and
Mhm.
Fingers crossed.
get it done.
All right, so we just
Yeah.
making a motion on, is it the plan or the spring cleanup? Which I'm good with the plan for the fall as well.
Well, we don't have the fall. What
Because we're
he's,
still
what
waiting
he's
on that
proposing
price.
here is,
Just the
that's
sweep.
his sweeping cost, but 2 falls ago, he came and did half a block and
Yeah,
decided
yeah.
that it wasn't working because of the leaves. Now, he's still coming back with a leaf proposal yet.
Okay, so we're still waiting on fall, so we're just
Yeah.
looking at spring right now.
Right, spring sweeping only is
So
what
he's
this
thinking
would
of
be.
investing in
Yep,
additional, you said, equipment?
So that would be nice.
yeah, I think so.
So where will he be dumping?
He dumps this at the yard waste site right now. And what it ends up being is leaves and sand. And we have it out there. Now, his quote is to be able to do that. And it keeps him in town and it keeps him in line to get it
Oh, yeah.
done too.
Yeah,
Okay,
makes sense.
Yeah.
all right. We'll make a motion to approve spring cleanup. Street sweep.
Yeah,
This is just spring cleanup, is that what I'm understanding?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll second that.
okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We move on to the administrator, operations supervisor report.
Just real quick on my end, we do have construction going on. The snow and everything is gone, obviously now. But I'll wrap into my report the yard waste site. Every year about this time, it seems very nice out. But if you're familiar with the yard waste site, it's sand on top of sand on top of sand on top of, we're not sure what it is, and it's all wet. So a lot of people call, they wanna know if they can get the key. The concern on our end is that if people go out there with a car, they're gonna get stuck in there.
Yeah.
And of course, when we mention that to the people that call, everybody that calls has a pickup truck, so they'll be okay, but that's not, the reason why the gate's not open 24 hours a day is because we're waiting for it to dry out. What we've put out there is we've tentatively put out April 1st every year to open it up. Now, if it's drier than that,
Yep.
we will open it up sooner.
I guess biggest question on that, where are we at with the camera system?
And we can, the camera itself would be about $150 to have the same setup that Combined Locks has. The only problem we have, which is what we're looking at, and we have our avid hunters sort of taking a look at this. Combined Locks had like a rainbow entrance. And so what they would get is they'd have a camera right here shooting this way. So as people drove in, automatically they would turn, and they were requiring their passes to be a sticker that you put next to your license plate. And we looked at the pictures, I think, a few months back. As you come in and turn, the camera catches your license plate. It's pretty clear that when you come in, you turn, they get you. On our end, we don't have 2 driveways. They drive in, and the only thing that we have to work on is what's the best angle to make sure that we can catch the license plate or wherever we're going to have a pass out there.
Yeah, I'd just like to see a solution before we open it up, so that way we don't run into our normal problem.
Yeah, we're able to get it, line it up. It's just going to be probably fine tuning it. And the best way we're going to figure out how this works is we're just going to have it open.
And play with it for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Just
So-
wanna make sure there's something there.
Yeah, and we, basically what we're looking at is the same thing that Combined Locks has had. It's a certain type of trail cam that's $150 with memory cards on it too. So it, like I said, it's just a matter of how do you catch.
Yeah, because people pull in different directions depending on what.
The one thing that we'll get no matter what is when a commercial tree trimming company comes in with their truck, we're gonna catch that.
Oh, yeah.
No matter
Do we
what.
have anything, do we have anything either posted or in ordinances to fine them?
We do. We've got, it's an illegal dumping fine, and the sign that's out at the yard waste site right now says it's for residential
Okay, so it
only,
suffices to be able to hold.
residents, city residents only. But what we might look at too is just maybe a temporary sign or something. We put it up there that tries to catch your eye a little bit better.
Yeah,
And signage in general out there probably could be updated.
yeah. Trying to
So,
scare them off that way.
When you said the one to catch your eye, do you mean
Yeah.
let them know there's camera surveillance?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. And the fact that there would be a pass required because otherwise there's
Yeah.
no, you wouldn't be able to prove residency anyway, you know.
Mhm.
So, without a pass. So that's one of the things we're looking at too. We do have the passes and they are $1 a piece to get a pass. There was some thought on our end that maybe we'd look at upping that amount, but I mean, for $1 right now,
Yeah, we can
all
talk-
we wanna do is get something that people can get that proves that they're a resident of the city. Okay?
Yep.
I think they'd value it more if it was $5.
They could.
We can talk
But
about that when
but
we
if they
start,
don't
you know?
live in the city and they're dumping illegally, the fee that they'll have for that is going to be probably eye-opening too, I believe.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, people don't realize how much that
How much is
really
that?
costs us.
Well, that's what I'm
That's
saying. When I
right,
hear
yeah.
$1, I'm like,
Cause we gotta get all that stuff chipped and ground and hauled away and
a lot of
I
expense.
think that's something we probably hit.
they
at
think
budget
it's just a
time.
free place, you know, but it's not.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it might look like it's
Yeah.
just sitting there, but yeah,
I mean,
there's a
their
lot of
taxes
hours
pay
to
for
keep
it.
it.
That's
Couple
what I
That's the
like.
other thing too.
Yeah.
So,
That's
I
the other
mean,
thing
it'd be
too,
a
and
horse
that's-
apiece, one way or the other, but
Yeah.
it would be nice, cause then it would give you more flexibility with managing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, we can talk about that budget.
Yeah, but I mean, it costs 12 to 15 grand depending on how many times we have to chip. That's the cost to run it out there. So it's an expense,
Yeah.
but it's a service too. You know,
Will the compost be ready for citizens to take for their gardens this year?
it could be. The problem that we have is all that the material that was on site when we first started.
Mhm.
Instead of hauling it all out completely, we used what was there, and what we're finding is there's some stuff, just junk that was in it before. And when I say junk, there's some wood. I think I went out there, I
Plastic
saw like
and
a
metal
dog
and-
chew toy or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a way, maybe we could probably get some type of a screening out there or do something. But we are very lucky from this last fall. We did have, it's, I think, a farmer, or I've got a gentleman's name that came in and hauled out a lot of it on his own because he had a need for that type of a material. And if you go in there, you'll see that there's a big swath closest to the water tower, or closer to the water tower, that's
Oh, really?
just gone.
Took it out?
And then it got to be too cold and too swampy, and then he stopped because he was
So
going
he
in with a
wants
truck
more
and a
also,
trailer.
regular basis maybe, yearly? He wants.
would be
He
perfect.
said that he had been doing that in the past, and something had come up, and he hadn't been doing it in recent.
He works full time somewhere else too,
Yeah.
so it's kind of a hobby type thing.
But yeah, he had said that he had come here and done this in the past for us and taken everything out when it was there, and yeah, it cleans things up quite a bit out there.
I won't say too much on who, but we've got his phone number. So, for sure,
Yeah.
because that helps quite a bit, because then we don't have to pay to get rid of it too, or to get
right.
rid of it. But yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
on our end down at the treatment plant, construction is moving. The pace picked up quite a bit last week. We're starting to tie in new treatment plant to the old treatment plant. Last week it was the RAS system. This week it's going to be the raw wastewater going into the new system. That's going to happen tomorrow morning. We've got startup for our new vertical screen is going to happen tomorrow or Wednesday. And So things are happening pretty fast and furious down there. They're gonna start putting together the septic receiving station here in the next couple weeks. UV system has got to be online by the middle of April per our contract, so that's on its way. It's on site, but it's just got to get installed. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening down there.
That was gonna be done about the same time City Hall, huh?
Yep. Substantial completion is set for the same week, that April 18th, 19th.
You guys got new plans or anything in the works for, I guess, advertising our sewage septic,
Yeah,
our septic
once we get
hole,
it,
since we're actually gonna be set up to do it nicely?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
wouldn't
we
be
will.
a bad idea just to try and put it out there, get a little more revenue.
yep,
Yep.
yep, that's the idea. For sure. The big thing is gonna be comparing the rates that we charge to
Yeah.
other plants too.
Yeah, we'll have to go through the sewer use ordinance, 'cause I know our septage rate is extremely high to be competitive. Our holding tank rate is probably one of the lowest in the area,
And that's what we're getting.
and
for
that's
the most
that's
part right
all
now.
we're taking right now, just based on how we have to receive at the plant. We don't have control. We have to take a slug load, so the easiest way to not shock the plant too bad is to not accept septic tanks.
Okay.
But looking forward, and there's other options as far as taking a mixed load, having a mixed load charge to kind of be in that in-between area. If somebody brings a 4,000 gallon tank and 2,000 of it's septage and 2,300 or 2,500 is holding tank, then we can look at charging different rates that way too. So it's something we'll have to look at for that. But
Yeah.
Good deal.
yeah, otherwise, yeah, that's what's going on down at the treatment plant, and for the most part, yeah, we're done hauling snow. We're starting to look at other spring things to start getting done. Looking at jetting some of our problem spots here in the next probably month or so, just to get things cleaned up so that in summer we can focus on the rest of what needs to get done.
Is it early summer you do like pothole repairs?
That's one of the things that'll probably happen too in the next month or so. We'll be looking at, I know we've identified a few areas that need to be filled in, and kind of once we're kind of waiting to see, make sure we don't get any more ice and snow
Yeah.
before we commit to, and we need to have a place to put a load of cold patch if we don't use it all. And right now, we usually stored it down at the treatment plant, so obviously that's not really an option at this point.
Probably better off just waiting until
Waiting a little
majority of
bit.
the project's
Oh,
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weather forecast tonight, he said it could be 1.25 inches of rain and then possibly 2 inches of snow all at the same time. I thought that.
Yeah.
You know, next
So-
3 days.
Past
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's on our radar too for pothole filling.
Okay. So we could move along here to number 7,
Thanks, Don.
which is, yeah, thank you. Set April Public Works meeting, date and time.
Yeah, we're looking at the second Monday is April 11th. Want to keep it at the 5:30 yet? One of the things we'll probably have is, because that's the week that the final flooring is supposed to be going in at City Hall, probably around 4:35-ish, maybe have a walkthrough there at the,
Go check it out.
because we gotta post it so that we won't have a quorum we'll have a quorum of any committee that goes there. But you might want to do that.
I'm sure there'll be
'cause
some
it's-
other people that wanna peek. There's a
Yep.
couple last time.
Yep. So we'll probably look at that for that same night on the 11th of April, and we'll still have the finance committee meeting after then.
Alright.
So do we need to decide on the walkthrough time, did you say?
No, we'd probably just plan on having it beforehand, unless you want to have public
Just
works and then go
informal,
walk
but
through
Last
it.
time it took us, what, half hour?
Yeah, and a lot of that was
But there was a lot of change orders that we had to discuss, so that one took a little
And it was your,
longer.
I think your
Plus
first
your first
time
time.
Yeah,
going
first
through
It was, yeah.
6, 8, 7 months.
But there's quite, it was actually really nice going from that to this, because then every change order that there was in the packet, it's like,
You had a mental
Sense, yeah.
picture.
Yeah,
I know
saw
what it
that.
is, yeah, it makes sense, yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about it, and
Yep.
Yeah.
it does help.
And I think there's a change order coming yet at the next month's meeting. so
Should
that
be,
might
yes.
even help too.
Yep.
For the
Okay.
city hall project for
Yeah,
finance,
that'd
so
be
that'll
perfect
help.
then, so at least we can call it out and understand it better. That
Yep.
helps.
Yep.
Good deal.
Okay. I don't have any other matters.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.
6:34.